Hey fellow gun lovers, you feel that chill when headlines scream global meltdown and suddenly your safe's looking a bit light for what's coming? Hold tight, because with World War III whispers getting louder, we're talking 10 guns that aren't just hardware. They're your lifeline when supply lines snap, and you're foraging for dinner or protecting your loved ones. Trust me, these picks aren't military bling. They're reliable workhorses built for ammo that's everywhere, actions that run dirty, and versatility that covers hunting squirrels to holding the homestead. From quiet blinkers to long-range tack drivers, we'll break them down with real talk on why they shine in chaos, backed by ballistics that matter and prices that let you stock deep. If this gets your prep game fired up, smash that like and follow Survival Gear Showcase. We've got more no BS survival wisdom to keep you one step ahead. Glock 19. No list of survival firearms would be complete without the Glock 19. It's the pistol that checks every box. Compact enough to conceal, big enough to fight with, and chambered in the most common pistol round on earth, the 9mm. Fire a 115-grain bullet at 1,200 feet per second and you're hitting with over 350 foot-pounds of energy. It's not about maximum power. It's about the right balance of fight-stopping capability and ammo availability. More than 1.5 billion rounds of 9mm are manufactured annually in the U.S. alone. And being NATO's standard pistol cartridge means you'll find it in military caches, police stations, and probably even under grandma's couch cushions. At 25-40 cents per round, you can build up your stash without sweating too much. What sets the Glock apart? Its brutal simplicity. With only 34 parts, this striker-fired pistol keeps ticking after being frozen, buried, or dragged through mud. A standard 15+1 magazine capacity means you're not undergunned, and compatibility with extended mags gives you options. Maintenance? Field strip it in seconds without a single tool. Price tag hovers between $500 and $700 depending on the market, and that's pocket change compared to the security it delivers. Ruger Mini 14. The Ruger Mini 14 has been around long enough to prove one thing. You don't have to carry something that screams combatant to be effective. Chambered in 2.23 Remington divided by 5.56 NATO, this rifle puts serious power into a deceptively humble hunting rifle look. A 55-grain bullet leaves the barrel at blistering speeds north of 3,200 feet per second, hitting with over 1,200 foot-pounds of energy. That's enough to handle mid-sized game or two-legged threats. What makes the Mini 14 shine in a collapse? Its chambering. The 5.56 NATO divided by 2.23 Rem is the second most produced rifle cartridge in America, which means piles of it will be floating around any battlefield, abandoned outposts, or military depots. At 50 to 80 cents a round, stockpiling before the storm is manageable. And unlike an AR-15 that'll get you spotted a mile away, the Mini 14's woodstock silhouette makes you look like a farmer on his way to a coyote hunt instead of a fighter. That subtle difference could be the reason you walk away unnoticed when attention is the last thing you want. Reliability? The gas-operated action is simple, proven, and built to run even in dusty or muddy environments. Priced between $800 and $1,000, it isn't the cheapest rifle out there, but it pays for itself in situations where blending in is survival. Mossberg 5.90A1. When your four walls become your last fortress, there's nothing more confidence-inspiring than the thud of a 12-gauge shell chambering into a Mossberg 5.90A1. Originally built to meet U.S. military standards, this shotgun is as rugged as a tool can be. The steel trigger guard, heavy-walled barrel, and Parkerized finish are all designed to eat abuse and keep running. Load this beast with 0.0 buckshot, and you're sending 9.33 caliber lead balls downrange at 1,200 feet per second. That's essentially unloading a mini volley with each trigger pull over 1,300 foot-pounds of collective stopping power. Swap out to slugs, and you've got vehicle-stopping penetration. Birdshot? Now it doubles as your hunting tool for small game. That's the kind of versatility you want when the world is falling apart. Ammunition availability? The 12-gauge is hands down the most produced shotgun shell on the planet. It's used for sport, hunting, and defense by civilians everywhere, which means wartime governments won't be hoarding it for front lines. At $1 to $3 per shell, you can stack your shells without taking a second mortgage. Used models float around $500, which is a steal for a firearm that may end up being the anchor of your home defense plan. AK-47. If there's one firearm that has earned its reputation by being dragged through every mud pit, desert, and frozen wasteland on Earth, it's the AK-47. Chambered in 7.62 x 39 millimeters, this battle rifle pushes a 123-grain slug at 2,350 feet per second, thumping with over 1,500 foot-pounds of energy. It's not just about numbers, it's about the fact that this thing works when nothing else will. The loose tolerances built into its design are exactly why it keeps running when packed with sand or grit. Field cleaning? Optional. Abuse? Expected. Drop it in a swamp and it'll still cycle. That's why militaries from over 100 countries still trust it. Ammo availability is the AK's secret weapon. The 7.62 x 39 is the most produced military cartridge in history, over 100 billion rounds since 1943. It's produced in dozens of countries, meaning no matter which supply chains get disrupted, you're still likely to find crates of it. At 30-50 cents per round, it's affordable to stockpile and absolutely everywhere on global battlefields. Quality AKs sit between $800 and $1,200, and that's a small price for reliability that borders on indestructible. Ruger 1022. Survival isn't all firefights and barricades. When grocery stores are boarded up, a humble Ruger 1022 may be the reason your campfire has meat sizzling over it. Chambered in 22 LR, it's a lightweight semi-auto that sends a 40-grain bullet at 1,070 feet per second. Not exactly earth-shaking power, but perfect for rabbits, squirrels, and even the occasional turkey if you play it right. The real magic here is ammunition. The 22 LR is the most mass-produced cartridge in the world, over 2 billion rounds annually in the US alone. Even during the 2020 shortages, you could still find 22 on shelves when centerfire ammo vanished. At just 8 to 12 cents a round, you can stack tens of thousands in a single ammo can without breaking the bank. The 1022 itself costs around $300 to $400 and has a reputation for being nearly indestructible thanks to its simple blowback action. It runs dirty, it runs cheap, and it'll feed you when everything else in your safe is too loud or too valuable to waste. In a world where every bullet counts, the 1022's efficiency is hard to beat. Precision bolt-action rifle in 308 Winchester. When the fight stretches past 600 yards, nothing replaces a well-built bolt-action chambered in 308 Winchester. Think of classics like the Remington 700, which has been the backbone of both hunters and military marksmen for decades. Push a 150-grain bullet at 2,820 feet per second, and you're looking at nearly 2,650 foot-pounds of energy, plenty to take down big game or stop a threat before they're close enough to be one. Ammo availability seals the deal. The 308 is virtually identical to 7.62 x 51 NATO, the standard sniper and machine gun round for Allied forces. That means mass production, military stockpiles, and battlefield pickups. Price per round sits between $1 and $2, but the trade-off is reach and precision. Sub-MOA accuracy from a $600, $1,000 rifle with optics means you can project force farther than almost any other firearm in your kit. It's not the gun you'll carry every day, but when you need to send a message or put food on the table from a distance, the 3rd of August HT 8-bolt gun delivers. In survival terms, it's your equalizer, your insurance policy against being outranged. Smith & Wesson J-frame revolver. Sometimes survival isn't about big rifles or shotguns. Sometimes it's about the pistol you can actually carry everywhere. The Smith & Wesson J-frame, chambered in .38 Special, has been the quiet bodyguard in countless pockets and purses for generations. At just 15 ounces and barely over 6 inches long, it disappears under any clothing. Yet that small frame carries 5 shots of reliable stopping power. A 125-grain bullet leaves the barrel at about 950 feet per second, packing enough punch to put down threats at close range. The .38 Special has been in production since 1898 and continues worldwide, and because it isn't a military cartridge, it avoids government requisition during conflict. Even in hard times, it stays available. At 50-70 cents per round, stockpiling isn't out of reach, and you can even fire it in .357 Magnum revolvers for flexibility. Price tags on J-frames usually hover between $400 and $600, which is a fair trade for a gun that can literally ride with you every day without being noticed. AR-15. If adaptability had a face, it would be the AR-15. This rifle has become the gold standard for modular survival platforms, because it can morph into whatever role the situation demands. Chambered in 5.56 NATO divided by 2.23 Remington, it's not locked into a single identity. One day it serves as a lightweight carbine, perfect for moving fast on supply runs or defending close quarters. With a simple upper swap, it can transform into a heavy barrel precision rifle, giving you the reach and accuracy needed to stretch engagements past 500 yards. That kind of flexibility isn't just nice to have, it's survival insurance. Ballistically, the 62-grain NATO round it fires leaves the muzzle at roughly 3,200 feet per second, carrying about 1,250 foot-pounds of energy. That's more than enough to handle threats or drop medium-sized game when you need food. It also shares ammo with the Ruger Mini 14, which doubles your chances of finding compatible rounds when scavenging. With billions of 5.56 rounds in circulation globally, it's one of the most available cartridges you can count on in a collapse. What makes the AR-15 truly shine, though, is its ecosystem. Over 100 million STANAG magazines exist worldwide, meaning you can swap mags nearly anywhere. Combine that with the civilian aftermarket barrels, optics, triggers, stocks, and you've got a rifle that can be customized, repaired, or rebuilt indefinitely. With solid builds running $600 to $800, it's one of the best investments in both performance and peace of mind. FN SCAR-17S. Every survival kit benefits from a centerpiece firearm, and for many preppers, the FN SCAR-17S fills that role with authority. Chambered in 7.62x51 NATO, it delivers the kind of firepower usually reserved for dedicated battle rifles, yet wraps it in modern design and modular capability. A 150-grain bullet leaving the barrel at 2,750 feet per second carries nearly 2,500 foot-pounds of energy, enough to drop large game, punch through barriers, or put a hard stop to any threat well beyond the range of intermediate calibers. What sets the SCAR apart isn't just raw power, it's the way it balances that power with ergonomics and adaptability. Its short-stroke gas piston system runs cleaner and cooler than traditional direct impingement rifles, reducing carbon buildup and keeping the action reliable under extended use. The folding stock, adjustable cheek rest, and full-length rail system allow customization for any shooter, whether you're running optics for long-range precision or outfitting it with accessories for close-quarters defense. Magazine compatibility is another key advantage. By accepting standard NATO mags, the SCAR ensures you're tapping into the same supply lines that militaries rely on, giving you real-world scavenging options in a crisis. At around $3,000, it demands serious investment, but what you get is a weapon that functions as both hammer and scalpel. Whether patrolling, hunting, or defending a homestead perimeter, the SCAR-17S delivers uncompromising versatility and battlefield-grade reliability. Kel-Tec Sub-2000. When survival means traveling light and staying mobile, the Kel-Tec Sub-2000 shines as one of the most practical firearms you can own. This pistol-caliber carbine was built with portability in mind, folding neatly in half to a compact size that slips into a backpack, vehicle compartment, or bug-out bag with ease. At just over 4 pounds, it's lighter than most laptops, making it one of the most convenient rifles to carry without sacrificing firepower. Chambered at 9mm, the Sub-2000 gives you an enormous logistical advantage. It fires the same ammunition as the Glock 19, arguably the most common sidearm on the planet, and depending on the model, it can even share magazines. That means you're not just cutting down weight, you're simplifying your entire loadout. One caliber, one set of mags, 2 firearms that cover both close-quarters defense and mid-range engagements. Performance-wise, the 16-inch barrel squeezes extra velocity out of a standard 115-grain round, pushing it to around 1,300 feet per second. This extra punch extends the effective range to nearly 100 yards, far beyond what you'd expect from a pistol, and plenty for defense or light hunting. At a market price between $500 and $600, the Sub-2000 delivers serious value. In survival terms, it's affordable insurance. A folding rifle that keeps you armed, mobile, and efficient when space and weight matter most. Conclusion. When the world tilts off its axis, survival isn't about owning the flashiest gun on the rack. It's about having a balanced arsenal that works when it counts. Each firearm fills a role, from close-quarters defense to reaching out across open ground, and together they create a system built on reliability, adaptability, and purpose. It's not just about firepower. It's about confidence, knowing you've got the right tool no matter what situation unfolds. If this breakdown got you thinking about your own setup or opened your eyes to what might be missing, Smash that like and follow Survival Gear Showcase because staying ready today means surviving tomorrow.